Hello, everyone. Is this audible? Anything? Nice. I'm getting a lot of yeses. Hello, Avish, Vishwajyoti, Preet, Pradyum, Animesh, Pahul. I'll try not to mispronounce your name this time. Benny, Vansh, Saurav, Aditya, Momin, Akshay. Okay, what I'll do is I'll keep the last session cut track, whatever we made. I'll keep it playing so that we get used to the song and then we'll continue from there. Till then, jab tak track baj raha hai, till the track is playing. If you have any questions, you can just put it down in the chat and in 15 minutes we should start. Dave is saying audio quality of last class was better because it was streaming directly from here. But unfortunately, there were a lot of issues. बहुत जिनको problem हो रहा था उससे, and we have issues recording it in the sense since it is directly from the top. If you still want, I can give you the link, but then you'll have two things running parallel. Shubhadeep Ronnie says how to decide what instrument should be used to make the song sound great. It's all about visualization. When you listen to a song, a lot of things count into it. For example, I was recently given a song and I was given a brief. We get sometimes briefs like this that the song needs to sound modern. I'm like, okay. So the modern has a lot of meanings. Now, the emotion of the song wasn't mentioned to me and there's no lyrics. So how do I know? So it is most important to nail the lyrics of the songs and then only it makes sense. Hope, you can, that way you'll be able to nail the feel of the song and the instrumentation and stuff like that. Can be acoustic, can be synth, whatever. But for the instrumentation and all, you need the clarity of the emotion. It can be created with anything. It can be with synths or with anything. That depends on your creativity. But emotion is most important. I'll say rather than me telling you instruments, if you like a specific genre of song, listen to that genre of song. Now you go to Spotify or iTunes, it is pretty well sorted, and try to listen and figure out what is actually playing in there. I missed the last session. Is there a recording available by any chance? I will try to get back to you after today's session, Moment. We might not have the audio, but this is what we did in the last session. As you see, there wasn't, like, this is the progress. because we answered a lot of questions and stuff like that. Dave wants the link. I'll still share the link. If you want, you can listen to it. Hi Hinal, it depends. Like if you guys like it more, I'll do it more often. Let's see how far we can do this. Gaurav asks, is Dil Ka Fitoor on the future-based genre? Yes, it is. As you can listen to the style of the arrangement, you can tell that it is that kind of a genre. You made a track and you mixed it on your M40 XS. It was sounding great. Then on the other stuff, okay, this is what we call translation. Translation is, not all source of sounds are the same. What does that mean is, say when you're listening to your speakers or your headphones, at that point of time, what kind of headphone that is, it depends on that. A lot of times closed back headphones sound kind of low mid boomy, and since you're speaking of the M40Xs in general, mixing in headphones, you are unable to feel the low end, like what kind of low end is actually happening in the song. That is why most people love and prefer mixing on speakers, until unless like you are super in a situation where you can't use a speaker or you don't have a speaker and you still have to deliver a mix, then you use your experience and you get the mix done on headphones. But that is the reason, because the low ends, as you can see, speakers have big drivers, like 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches. These drivers really emit that kind of energy, which is not possible in headphones. Headphones are very small. So that is why all that happens. So use your headphones. It's fine for listening to it once in a while, decide if this is working or not. But keep moving it, like work on your monitors and then go back to the headphone and go back to the monitors. There's a very famous thing called the car test. A lot of people will take their mixes and go and listen to it in a car, because a car is generally super boomy. So if there is anything wrong, it really pops out. Not that cars are great speakers, but it's just that if something is wrong in the mix, it really pops out. Like if it's super bassy, it'll be super bassy over there. If your mix has mids, it'll be super midish over there. So that helps. So this whole translation thing is what develops with time. The more you get used to your gear and the sound, the better you start mixing. So when we get the download link, this will be up on YouTube here only. So the link that I have shared with you, this is gonna be available. Gaurav Mahatash says home studio someday, not today. Hi Shoibal. Preet, I have currently turned off the screen. That is why you'll be able to see me, but the screen will come back on. Let's hear the song for another 2 minutes and then I'll start. Okay, I see you guys really like the audio mover thing because of the sound quality. I understand. You will get the audio movers link, but you won't be able to hear me speaking. That's the only issue because this is how it is patched currently. You can see me. The screen is off currently. The session is off, but if you can see me, then everything is running fine. अगर कोई चीज नहीं दिख रहा है, if you can't see anything, it's because I'm not showing it to Yes, Aditya, you can always check your mixes on normal headphones because most people are going to hear it on normal headphones, but use the flat headphones to mix it because that way you know that the song sounds perfect in terms of tonality and stuff, and then the whole translation bit of it, like the amount of mids and everything like that is taken care over there. Okay guys, I have shared the Audio Movers link. You can just stream from there if you want. Yeah, they will decide on that. Okay guys, let's continue doing our song, and let's see where we can reach today. I'll just keep the chat open here so it's easy for me to just quickly answer you guys. Can you get my voice on that link? Okay, I'll try. Akshay, the track is not playing right now. I'll quickly set up talkback. You guys can hear me? Let me know if this is audible. And this I'm speaking to people who are listening on Audio Movers. Hello, 1, 2, 3. I'll keep the track playing and I'm speaking. Just mute your what do you say? Okay, my voice is not going there. Okay, no issues. We'll figure something out. I'll just make a track with my voice in it, so it's just there all the time. This should be audible now. Okay, guys, if you are not being able to see my screen properly, it's because of the network issues that you are facing. Because I'm connected through Ethernet and I'm getting full bandwidth, so there shouldn't be an issue from my side. Paul, there will be latency because you're trying to listen to the same source in two places. So you'll have to mute the YouTube one to be able to hear in the Audio Movers one. Dave, same for you. If there is a latency, it's because YouTube and Audio Movers, both of them are playing at the same time. That is why. Okay, let's start. I'll quickly go through the song again and I'll gradually build. You can keep putting your questions down. Good thing is now that we don't have other people in the video chat, there won't be any noise issues and stuff like that. Okay, Animesh, I think you should refresh your page if you're not getting the Audio Movers audio. That should fix it. Yes, Benny, this video is gonna be up. What I'm gonna do is, I feel like when the voice comes in, the synth part which comes in feels unnecessary. So what I'm gonna do is, I'll start working and I'll keep speaking about what I'm doing, and then we'll see where we get. Currently, I'm feeling ki where the voice comes in. Yeah, so where the voice comes in, there is a lot of things happening, which is kind of taking over the whole melody. So I'm gonna reduce that. Don't worry, when I'm far from the mic, I'm not saying anything important. I have the volume control on my hand, so if I'm saying anything important, I'll put it up. This was for Animesh. Okay, I'll quickly add a bass line. I feel that can give us some flow of ideas. I use Contact a lot. I'm sure you guys who produce have Contact, either the original version or the cracked version. Akshay, you cannot fix the video lagging, because if you want, like, that is the whole thing. Like, you have to listen to it, in YouTube itself. Audio Movers link is extra, so that people who want to actually listen to in good quality can go and listen to that on that link. If you want to watch it in sync with the video, then you'll have to stick to YouTube. Okay, let's hear the bass. Okay. We did this a while ago. I have forgotten the chords. There is a very quick feature in Cubase which is called chord track. I'm sure it is in a lot of the other DAWs as well. I'll show it later, Dev, the library collection. It is not important. Let's stick to what I'm doing and ask questions from there. Extras I'll do later. You can always email me or like message me on Instagram or Facebook anywhere, and I'll reply. Okay. So what I'm doing right now, since I did this track a week ago, I don't remember the chords. I'm going to use the notes that I've used here to add chords into the chord track so that I can see it and I know what is the progression of the song. You see, I have this chord editing thing. Also, right now I'm running Cubase 11 because the update came out a few days ago, and it's nice. So yeah. You see that? The chord track is showing chords now. So now I can see that and play with that. And there we go. We have all the chords down. I'll quickly do the piano section. That is where I'm planning to play the bass for. So I'll know what progression is happening over there. A very nice note, like, like people who weren't there in the first part of the first session. What I did was we just figured out basic chords, what would go with the song which was playing. Now it is a very good practice to keep a notepad by you and write down the whole chart for the song, because it's easier to go back to it. Or if your DAW has a feature like this where you can write down and save chords, that's nice. I generally do the pen and paper way. Too treble-ish. I'm gonna make this a bit round. Okay. And I can loop that. Let's see how it goes from there. Yes, Animesh, I'll explain that. Okay, the whole point is there's a good question about transitions and stuff. What we're trying to achieve is we try to establish a mood. Like when you listen to the first section, it feels like it's trying to establish something, something that you feel like, yeah, this is gonna work. It's establishing a mood, and then it gradually goes into telling the story. Currently, we have a much longer intro than we would generally do in our songs, but then we'll go with the flow right now. Now, what I'm facing here, you can tell that when my bass notes come in, there is a clash which I'm feeling with my 808 kicks. This is my 808 kick. Just a second. My mic is off. Yeah. This is my 808 kick. It doesn't work with the bass. The clash. So I'll quickly, put this up and see if it works. That's fine for me. So let's hear it now. And what we'll do is we'll just EQ out that section of low end which feels very clashy. So I'll quickly hear the bass, how it sounds like, and I can see the bass frequency here. And I'll move to the kick. See that? So I'll just scoop this out so that this gives space for the bass to live in. This is what we talk about in sound design. When you're doing something, a lot of things need to just work together. Because a lot of information, low-end information is there in the kick, and a lot of low-end information is there as well in the bass. So let's hear this. see this Let's Clashy. Now my EQ, I have cut 7 dB right now just so that you can hear it. Now I'll reduce it gradually. Much better. I'll kind of remove the super low sub bass frequency from the bass guitar. This is a filter which I'm using. I'm using a 12 dB octave cut. Let's see how it works. You see, suddenly the whole rumbleness is gone. Hear that? Now I think I can just go back to the original tuning of the 808 kick, which was 1 plus 1. Let's hear it with that. Okay, that's still clashy. I'll stick to plus 5. So you see a lot of, trial and error is constantly happening because even I'm reacting to it the way I'm listening to it. And I will go back to the song. Let's hear it as a whole from the verse. Pahul, what I did right now is part of the arrangement as well, and a lot of mix engineers also do this, depending on how well you have produced your track sonically. Say if I'm a mix engineer and it comes to me like this super dirtied out, like say the bass also has a lot of bass and it's not fitting well with the kicks and stuff like that. So I'll have to sit and decide what works for the song. Now, since I'm doing it from, I'm doing the whole thing, the production of it, and I can hear and tell, like I'm intelligent enough to tell ki this is clashing and I have the knowledge to fix it, I will do that. Yes, it is kind of the same, but right now I'm not doing it because this bass is going to be constantly throughout the track. There is going to be some sort of bass. So yeah, as of now, I'll just use EQ. Sidechain and all are very complex in terms of like basic understanding of balancing. Those are great tools and very helpful. Like we use it every day. But like what happens is sidechain and all, we tend to focus too much. कुछ ज़्यादा ही सोचते हैं हम लोग sidechain के बारे में. Like the basic EQ and your normal fader is what you should know the best inside out. मैंने अभी कोई compression भी नहीं डाला. I haven't used any compression and I haven't used any sidechain. I'm just plain simple EQing and leveling with my faders, as you can see. So it is very important to know your EQ properly. I'm just gonna polish the voice while listening to the track. I'll give it a plate reverb. You can use any reverb. I'm using Verb Suite Classics. This is there in the Slate Digital package, which is like 1,000 rupees monthly, and you get all their plugins. So it is very nice. See, the vocals sound a bit spacious. Sounds dry. With the verb, sounds a bit nice. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the same kind of a feel, but I'll add some, some high frequency which is constantly going. It's like a loopy thing which is happening in the background. So that will give us a flow of, like a feel of movement since the repetition is there. And I'm going to loop these things. Now, if you remember, in the beginning, I had muted this synth part, which is this one. Dev has a very nice question. So Dev, what happens is when you listen to a song now, your brain automatically starts to arrange it inside your head. Now, what I'm choosing right now is I'm trying to achieve a certain sound that is playing inside my head also. Any song it can be. It can be a cover that you do with your band, or it can be a cover song, do solo or whatever. When you just sing the melody and you listen to it, you'll be like, something is happening. Oh, maybe that thing is happening. This thing is happening. There could be a nice bass or an EDM section or an acoustic section. It is all inside your head. So what I'm doing is I'm just trusting my thought inside my head, and I'm just going and putting that idea down. The thing is, it is important for you to put the idea down, because in the later stage of the song, if it is extra, I can always mute it. But if I don't have sufficient ideas, chances of me getting stuck with the song are very high. That way I won't be able to finish work. You know what I'm trying to say? It's all about keeping the flow and keep putting your ideas down. You never know what is perfect. Perfect does not exist. I feel it's gonna be huge future based. We'll see. We'll see about that, Gaurav. Yes, I have used an LFO. Serum is a very patchable synth. I can take anything and from anywhere and drag and drop it. Currently, what I have done, see, I could have used the same thing. This is the fun part. I used to keep telling Ki, I'll show you from scratch what I'm doing. Check this out. So right now, I'll just solo the synth track, and we'll hear that. Now, in the earlier class, I had used a plugin called the LFO tool. What it does is I can draw a graph, and that is how it will modulate my sound. So you can see this is, take this as a fader. These points, this whole line thing, think of it as a fader movement. So what it is doing, it's starting from 0, going up, staying up, and coming back down. Okay? Now, when I play the audio, this whole pattern that you're seeing, that blue line that you're seeing, has a duration. Yeah, it is ADSR only, but it is like a bit more simplified. So what is happening is you have the whole pathway which I have assigned for the fader, and I can assign a length to it. So if I make it super fast, say like a quarter beat is like crotchets, 1/4 and stuff like that, and 8 notes depending on the kind of pulsing feel that I want. A lot of the EDM tracks will be like, so if the click is 1, 2, 3, 4, you hear that because it's on the fourth beat. Now, since this is a much slower song, I want it to happen slowly. So if you can look here closely on the rate section, you can see my mouse, my cursor here, and I have set it to a half note, so it goes slowly. So this is what is happening. You hear that? It can go even smoother. And another thing I can do is I can, so that it gradually increases, stays super high, and comes back down. Hear this. So that is happening. I can make it even more drastic. It feels more rhythmic. LFO tool is not a stock plugin, but it's a super cheap one you can buy, or you can crack it. Use crack plugins to learn. That's all right, but like if you can afford it at a certain point of time, just buy it. That's what I have done. We need things to learn, so we crack it, we learn it, and once we are doing good work and we're getting the money in, we buy it. I think this is what a producer or composer should do. If you're capable of buying it, buy it. Okay, what I was showing is this is what I had done with the LFO tool. Now, this same thing I can achieve inside the Serum synth as well. I'll open the Serum synth. As Animesh said, you have used an LFO. So this is the LFO over here. That thing was also called an LFO tool, correct? So you can see in Serum, I have 4 LFOs that I can design. Now I'll quickly preload, load a preset, a sidechain preset, which will give me the same graph which I had on the LFO tool. If you look closely, it's the same graph. This and this. You see that? This and this. It's kind of close. So I'll just design it the way I have designed that, and I'll set the same settings. So that way I'll be able to achieve the same sound. Now, instead of using LFO tools, what I'll do is I'll take this LFO, and it is very easy to patch things from here inside of Serum itself. I'll take it and drag it onto the level. So what sidechain does is it's like controlling a fader. But if you choose it as an LFO in the synth, you can assign it to any feature. I can assign it to, say, the cutoff frequency. So with the LFO speed, my cutoff will constantly change. So see what I'm doing here. I'm assigning this blue light that you can see. I have assigned a range in which my LFO is going to move. Now see if I play that track, how it sounds like. So I use the same sidechain and I put it over there, but I don't want this. So I'll get rid of this. Remove all modulators. I'll get rid of this and I'll just hear it normally. But I want the sidechain thing to happen on the volume of the sound. So I'll drag this to the level knob. You see the level knob here? This is my oscillator 1, and I drag this LFO design onto this. So now this is going to behave like how the LFO tool was behaving. But like, since you can see this is a longer process to do, it is always faster for me to go and put LFO tool on the insert. So it just happens quickly. Over here, it's taking me a long time, but then this is another way of doing it. We're just trying to explore ways here. So check this out. See, it sounds exactly the same, but now you can see my LFO tool is disabled. It's happening from inside of Serum. Okay, let's move ahead. Now what I'm doing is I can see there's a lot of low frequency happening. Even though if I can't hear them on my headphones, this is for, I think this is, I forgot your name, sorry. This is for, Pahul was asking, I guess. Yes, he mixed his headphones, he mixes songs on M40Xs. So I'm using these Shure headphones. Like, this is a very flat headphone design, but mostly in headphones, you don't get the bass. But now most softwares have this reading available. See this waveform? You can see there is a huge jump in the lower end from 50 to 20 hertz, 20 to 50 hertz. This is something which I'm not hearing on my headphones. The low end that I'm hearing is this one. Hear that? This I'm not hearing. I'm putting it so high, but you can't hear it. So this is unnecessary. So even if it is unaudible, it's so clean that it will still, if I use any compressor or reverb or whatever, that signal will still exist in the whole mix and it will go there and cause issues. So I'll quickly cut that. And this time I'm using like a more steeper cut down. Yes, it can be understood visually if not audible on headphones. Yes, but don't make it just visual use. It is most important for you to hear it first. Don't try to mix visually. This is a tool which I'm using like in this use case, but this is not for every time. It's a practice you have to develop. See, now I'm cutting a lot of low frequencies, but it's not affecting my tone. Yeah, you can use that, or there is this thing called a multi-band compressor where you have 4 bands or 3 bands. This is for Aditya. You can solo any of those bands and you can hear it from there. Either works. The technique that you're using is generally used, in live situations where you have to set up speakers. There are speakers and then there are subwoofers. So we use the same high pass wala thing. We call it a crossover frequency. So that way we can decide what amount of frequency is going into the subs and what amount of frequency is going into the speakers. So it's all interrelated. You see, we are trying to achieve the same result using different tools. Ahul, as you can see, I haven't used it yet, so we'll see मैं कब use करता हूँ. Okay, let's continue with this. I'm gonna continue with the guitar. let's move ahead with the song, Animesh. I'll keep explaining. Should we cut lows until the sound does not change? Depends. See, a lot of the cheaper speakers, also the cheaper ka range is somewhere between, depending on the size also. A lot of times, most of the low frequencies is not audible. First of all, if you take a standard waveform, like say you take 40 hertz, let me quickly show you a Google search, 40 hertz length. Okay. And check this out. Oh, this is women's size chart, not this. 40 hertz. That's embarrassing. Here we go. You can see a 40 hertz wavelength. Wave can have a size of up to 17 meters. You see that? It's written over here. Up to 70 meters, 17 meters. So in real life scenarios, we don't even have that bigger room to actually fit in that amount of bass frequency. And 20 hertz is very hard to create for any speaker. The speaker that I have goes up to 40 hertz. Most speaker that you can buy in the market goes up to 50 hertz. So, it is about judgment. If it is always a nice decision to, hear and decide on what you're working on, because a lot of factors come in. There's acoustic treatment, the quality of speaker and stuff like that. So it is mostly about you do it, make whatever decision you're making, but keep checking it on different sources. Like I think Pahul only asked, like you can like you have to keep checking on. No, not Pahul. Sorry, this was Aditya. He asked about using normal headphones. So you can constantly go and listen to normal headphones. I also sometimes connect it on my tablet, and tablets have small speakers, so most of the times you won't hear the bass. But just for translation, key, if I'm getting the same feel which I was getting while mixing the session, or the translation happened or not, just to check that. It's a good habit of doing it. And in the process of doing that, say you do it several times, 200 times, 300 times. I know it's a big number, but in a year you definitely hear 200 songs, so that's not a big issue. So based on that, it really works. Okay, we can put some bellish sounds to give that high frequency thing happening. And for the bell sounds, I'm going to use Rhodes. It's like one of my favorite things to do. One of my favorite things to do. Mark 1. I can see now I'm using reverb, which is built in. A lot of times I wouldn't do that. So that's okay. You usually begin with cutting frequencies below 30 to 35 hertz. Depends on the kind of music you're working on. If it's EDM, that bass needs to be there. If it's not an EDM song, it's an acoustic song, a lot of times we don't hear that amount of bass in an acoustic instrument, so it's fine. But if it's an electronic sound, synth can produce that frequency. So it is not always a good idea to cut it, depending on songs, of course. Everything is super subjective. Shotadol says, why the mix sounds different on monitors and mobile phone? Because your monitors are huge and your mobile phone is small. So depending on the sound, it depends. Control that in the mix. It is totally dependent on the mix. Okay, let's try to put this on. Okay, I quickly quantize it. Some velocities might be off. We'll see on that. Now, this EP thing, I would like it to sound super reverby in a hall and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'll add some reverb on this. Let's hear it. There's this very nice plugin called Valhalla, which I use a lot for hall-based sounds. I really like it, and it's super easy to use. Yeah, Akshay, it might sound good, but that is not the sound in my head, so I'm not gonna try that. Okay, now I can come back to using the choir sounds here because I feel it will work. I'll quickly put the chord track down again since I hadn't done that for the second part of the song. I'm constantly forgetting the chord progression. We'll see on that, Gaurav. I think it sounds pretty wide to me, and I don't want it to be too wide. See, these are sounds that is inside your head, you know? That is how you choose what instruments to use. You guys are answering yourself now. Okay, I can use a reverse sample here, which will be pretty interesting. Again, my trusty place Splice to look for sounds. So I'll go look for reverse sounds. Check this out. This is a Rode, and it's in the key of F minor. We try to use this and let's see how this works. So A minor, our song key is in A minor. You can't hear Splice? Now you should be able to. Hear it now? Splice is audible. Preet? It's not audible. It should be audible. Check this out. Hey, you guys are on audio movers, so you will not be able to hear audio file. There is only so much I can give, you know. Audible, correct. Aditya says it. It is audible only on YouTube. On audio movers, you won't hear it, but it's okay. That's not an issue. You'll be able to hear the samples once I drop it in the session. सब कुछ नहीं मिलता एक बार में. Okay, I'll go back to this. Okay, Now that we're gradually building the energy. Now, if I play it from the beginning of the session, not the session, as in the beginning of the verse, let's hear it, and we'll gradually build the energy. I'm thinking strings, I'm thinking more vocal harmonies, and I'm thinking, you know, some more acoustic instruments and stuff like that. Sample that I dropped is something like this. It's a Rhodes sample. It's a reverse Rhodes sample. This is how it sounds like. I play it again. And I'm using it because once I go into the Rhodes playing, it sounds nice. Okay, let's hear it from the verse. Aditya, you can choose any transition time, whatever sounds good to you. There is no rule behind that. For me, it's working for one whole bar, so I've done that. Okay, I'll quickly boost the guitars here. Open the filter. Yes, Animesh, I'm currently not mixing. I'm just laying down ideas and then I'll balance it out. So the things what you're saying, this can happen, that can happen, it's all inside my head again. I know that it can happen. And since I'm arranging right now, it is most important for me to put the ideas on first, else I'll be stuck forever. Yes, I'm automating, Emmanuel. I'm automating. As you can see this line over here, it says filter cutoff. I'm just, in the last session, I had put a filter on top of the guitar, which I'm controlling over here. So as soon as the verse comes in, I make the filters slightly, like I close the filters. So it sounds like the guitars have gone away, giving space for the voice to come in. Like that. And gradually, once the repetition is happening, I'm bringing the guitars in gradually. There you go. Yeah, that's a good idea. Tremolo is a good idea. Okay, let's try the voice thing. We had the Omnisphere voice. I forgot the patch. What patch was it? Gospel choir, correct. See, so I write down the names of the patches in case, since digital audio workstations take so much load, once in 1,000 times it crashes and the patches get reset. So knowing the patch, it will be easier for me to recall it back again. Preet has faced it. Okay, let's hear this. I'll quantize it a bit. I'll quantize it completely because I remember explaining this to you in the last class, that this choir has a glissando on it, so it takes time to reach the note that I want it to be. If you hear it, I'll solo it out for you. See, it's rising. It is not going directly on the note. It's not doing that. It's going, whoa, it's rising onto it. Whoa. So I need that time so that the chord and the beat of my song comes together. So last time, you can see here on my left hand side, I had delayed, like I had pushed the whole track 90 milliseconds earlier. So that it just matches. That is why I'm hard quantizing it so that it all falls in place. Hinal, if you are working on consoles, then definitely faders. But in DAWs, you can literally automate anything. The amount effect, even the reverb times, anything that you see that there is a digital control on it. Say if there is, uh, say this is my compressor. If I can see any knob, I can automate it. That is a possibility inside the audio workstation. So that's why it makes work super fast and easier. Let's see if this song is going well. Before the next session, I'll send it to a guitarist. So next time when we sit here, we might have a guitar session on it. As you can see, this is going like a proper flow, like I am going to involve musicians. Okay, now what I'm going to do is the voice sounds very dry to me despite the reverb. So I'm going to blend it with the reverb that I'm using for my other tones. Last doesn't work for me, so I'll quickly redo that. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, Dave, it's a good option to put ideas down, but a lot of times, once you have musicians, the amount of ideas you can get out of them, no VST can match. So it is always, nice to have VSTs for laying down an idea, but we generally don't keep it as the final thing. Even if I have budget, low budget, whatever, I'll call a friend. We all have a guitarist friend, right? I'm sure every one of you has a guitarist friend. Just call them, hey, dude, come over. Let's have some chai. Let's have some coffee. Play this song for me. And if the song does good, and if you make money out of it, you can always pay him later. Make guitarist friends. Very important. Okay. So what I can feel is the energy, like the velocity that I've used, it's really pushing the voice too loud. So I'm reducing the velocities. Let's hear it. I make it lesser. You don't need to, Avish. If it sounds too out of time, then do it. It's not necessary. Like you'll notice, I don't quantize a lot. Like I do push it into the grid, but I'm not quantizing all of it. The whole idea is, as long as it sounds tight, it sounds like a song, it's fine with me. Okay, I'm getting some ideas in my head. Let's see. I think I can do a string build up into the next section. So I'll quickly lay that down. This might be interesting. This might be interesting for you guys because like I don't use just one strings library. I compile them and stack them because all of them sound different. So it just adds to it for me. Right now, I'll just go for Session Strings Pro. Should be always hardcore. Oh, I already answered that. String libraries are huge. They take forever to load. So bear with me. If you have questions, go for it. The session is an absolute delight. The song has a beautiful vibe. Yes, it does. Sunny songs generally are very peaceful to listen to. If you guys don't know who Sunny is, Sunny MR is a renowned music producer, mix engineer, composer. Like he does so many things, and he is the sound engineer and the music producer for Arijit Singh Live. And he has amazing songs. If you have Spotify or what, like Apple Music or wherever you listen music to, he has released a lot of new compositions of his own, which you can go and check out. Just go and write Sunny MR on YouTube or Spotify or wherever, and you will. It's there. You can batch save on Contact. Batch save, maybe. Like, I know you're talking about the quick load thing. I don't know much about batch save. I just recall instruments because it is on my SSD, so it doesn't take a lot of time. Like it would have taken longer on a normal hard drive. Like would have taken easily 5 minutes. If you want the libraries to load faster, definitely keep it on SSDs. It is expensive, but it saves a lot of time. And if you can't afford SSDs, then hard drive is also a very great option. Okay, so what I generally do when I'm doing strings stuff like that, I generally assign the like the dynamic feel of it onto the modulation wheel, the mod wheel, so it's easy for me to control over there. Now, as you can see, the last chord over here. Oh, I haven't taken that down. Let me quickly lay that down. So my last chords are F, G, and E minor. Do you skip playing bass notes on other strings or synths VSTs? Depends, man. A lot of times, you want that fat synth. So if you want a synth sound to sound fat, you need to use bass notes. But then also it has to work with the other bass tracks, the actual bass tracks of the session. So you, like how I showed earlier, you have to EQ out so that the important frequencies stay, so that the synth still sounds fat, the bass also sounds nice, and they're not clashing. So yes, you have to use bass notes depending on your purpose, and you can avoid. See, that sounds nice. See that? I quickly quantize it so it sounds all tight. Also, when I quantize, I have explained this in the previous class also, I have this option called iterative quantize where it will not do 100% quantize. As you can see, I have selected 30% only. So whatever the note situation is, it will quantize it to the 30% of it. So it still has a bit of random movement, so it sounds more acoustic like. So now I can see that this is going towards the more acoustic section, but we don't know how the drop is going to sound like, so we'll see. Okay. I missed the last notes, so I'll just quickly double it. And like a lot of these string sounds are very mid harsh, so a lot of times it sounds nice because when you're listening to it on the first time, but in the mix it just pops out too much. So I tend to cut down the high mids and stuff so that it fits right nice and round. I don't do it all the time because you want the string flavor also. After all, it's the bow hitting the strings, so you want to hear that out as well. So I'll cut somewhere around 2K, 4K ish, and we'll see how it sounds like. Okay, now this I use a reverb a lot. This is called the Ocean Way reverb, which is available on Universal Audio. If anybody of you guys use Universal Audio plugins, they have this. I don't know anywhere else, but I'm sure if you use Altiverb, you'll get very nice sounds like this as well. I don't have Altiverb, so I'll go use Ocean Ways. Staccato strings. I'm gonna add the Ocean Wave room. Ocean Way Studios. I'm sure you might have heard of it. It's a very famous studio with tons of racks in the background. You know, it's a very famous photo for all you guys who like looking about studios. So I'm sure you'll know which studio I'm talking about. And my UAD is not working. Quick reboot and it should be fine. There we go. It's all fine now. So what this does is it tries to recreate the reverb in the room. Can tell me how to add track on JioSaavn? You have to find a distributor who will do that for you, or you can do it by yourself. You know, you can use cdbaby.com. A lot of independent artists use that. You know, cdbaby.com, and you can use it to put songs there. JioSaavn. I think they have it for JioSaavn as well. I think they don't have it on Gaana.com. But yeah, that's a whole topic altogether. We can also use the native reverbs, right? They're also so nice. Yes, but this is a very selective scenario. Like it is, this is not exactly making it sound reverby. It just, it pretends to be a different mic, a microphone inside a room. It's a modeling thing. But yeah, I think the closest one that can be to this is Altiverb. And if you're really good with reverbs, I'm sure you'll be able to make with the stock plugins as well. It will work, not an issue. That's the whole point about understanding how, you know, mics work and our reverbs and stuff, how that work. You see, you can't hear the difference, but yeah, impulse response. That's how reverbs work, by the way. Impulse response. This curve is not working for me. We'll just fix that quickly. It's too steep. Yeah, that's the thing. Gaurav, you're right. That's why we all work so hard so that we can afford these things at a certain stage in our life. So work hard and you'll be able to afford it once. No issues. We all have started from somewhere where we didn't have anything. So keep working, don't lose hope. And plugins is easy, bro. Once you work hard enough, you'll be able to buy. No issues. Okay, what I did here is you'll notice on sends, on reverb sends, effect sends, there's this thing called pre-fader and post-fader. Now, generally, most plugins, most sends on Cubase is pre-fader, but in Pro Tools and stuff, it is post-fader. So what that is doing is in Cubase, this orange color means pre-fader mode. Sorry, post-fader mode. That means the amount of my EP going into the reverb is dependent on the fader. So if my fader is less amount of this thing will go. EP will go into the reverb. Just a second, I'll play it back for you from here. You can hardly hear it because I turned it down. But if I put it into pre-fader mode, my fader will not affect the amount of reverb. Like I can make the dry signal loud. I can put it at 0 also, but you're hearing the reverb in the background. So that's the whole pre-fader, post-fader concept. Is this clear? This is a super interesting thing. So what I'm doing is I like the dry signal, but as somebody referred earlier, it will sound nicer, wider, and nice. So I'm pushing more reverb signal and less dry signal. Okay, this sounds too abrupt, so I'll put like a slight automation. Again, this is for Hinel. See what I'm doing right now is I'm doing the volume automation. I can do the same thing for the other thing, for other tools as well. Like I showed you for something I forgot. The filter, yes. See that? How nice it sounds? Shotadol, sorry, you'll have to join another workshop maybe later. And you can follow Sunny. He speaks a lot about this. You can drop him a message and he'll be able to explain you better. Right now, I'm going to just work on making the song. It's a different topic altogether. No offense. Sorry. Okay, I'll explain again, Emmanuel, what pre-fader does. Let me explain this, how effects work. It is a very easy way to quickly say my blip. This is my blip. You hear it? The blip sound. You hear that? Now it's got a reverb of its own. If I cut that reverb, that's what it sounds like. It sounds dry. Nothing is there. Okay. Now this is the channel strip of my blip fader. I go here, choose I'll choose a long room. Okay. And now this orange mode is pre-fader in Cubase. I'm sure like there is separate ways for other DAWs, but this option is there on all DAWs. So now I'll choose, say, the pre-fader thing, sorry, the pre-fader thing, and I'll play the sound again. You'll hear the reverb now. You hear that? The reverb is playing in the background. Now, if you notice, if I reduce the fader, the amount of reverb will also go away. See that? The reverb is also less now. What is happening is in pre-fader mode, the fader is connected to the amount of signal that I'm sending into the reverb. Is this clear? The fader controls the amount of signal that is going into the fader in pre-fader mode. Okay? So if I put my blip down to 0, I'll literally hear nothing. There's no signal. Even the reverb is not working now. Now, if I put this into a pre-fader mode, what will happen is, again, pre-fader means signal is going into the effects before your fader. As simple as that. You use fader to control volume. And if the signal goes before the fader, then regardless of the amount of volume you have, the signal is not affected. But in a post fader option, in a post fader option, the moment you move your fader down, the signal going into the effects also reduces, because now it is dependent on the fader, because it's post fader, so the signal is going after what the fader is doing. Make sense? Clear? Now check this out. Now what I have done is this whole pre-fader thing. Now you, regardless of my fader being at 0, you'll be able to hear the reverb now. Hear that? My fader is like at 0. You can see. You still hear the reverb. And the moment I pull it up, the amount of reverb is not changing. It's just the clean signal that is changing now for me. Hear that? Hear that? Hope this makes it clear for you. I'll quickly undo and go to what my original situation was. There we go. Okay, let's hear the song again. I now, as you can see, I'm constantly going back and forth from the beginning of the verse till where I have reached to understand the, how the energy is working for me or not. The whole dynamic, if I'm able to establish it, or if I'm able to, achieve what I'm hearing in my head. So it is always important to go back and listen from the beginning. Now I'll quickly choose another couple of transition samples from my Splice library. These transition things, samples the reverses or like a crash and stuff like that. It helps in transitioning a song from one point to another. It gives like a nice feel of the dynamic rising and stuff like that. So I'll quickly go choose one. Shikhar, that depends. Currently, I'm making it work like just like the whole symphony is playing together. If you want it to sound a bit more fancy, you want it to come from left to right, you can do it. There's no specific. Again, it's the sound which is inside your head. So if you are hearing it panned, do it panned. No issues. Okay, this is a nice sample. Audio movers, guys, won't be able to hear the samples. If you're hearing me on YouTube, you'll be able to hear it. Technically, okay, this is for Gaurav. Technically, a good recorded vocal should cut through, but it also depends on the arrangement. You cannot have something at super low volumes and expect it to cut through. It won't. Yeah, the harmonics do matter for it to cut through. That's why we have super expensive mics. We have mics that are available for 20,000 rupees. We have mics available for up to 8, 10, 15 lakhs or even more. If you go for older mics, it's even more expensive because they sounded a certain way and they cut through. That whole thing happens. So the sample I chose is an orchestral transition with a lot of low end. Heard that? A lot of low end in that. Cutting it. Now I can do a tom kind of a fill over here. So it feels fill over here. So it feels like a transition is happening. Uh, I'm using a satellite. Try that again. That sounds super weird right now, but once we put reverbs and stuff like that, it'll sound pretty cool. Sounds weird right now, but once we put reverb and stuff, it'll sound pretty cool. Right now, it's sounding very bright to me, so I'll quickly EQ it. I want it to be slightly dirty. Also, that kick is too loud for me, so I'm going to cut it out. Well, it depends on. This is for Hinel. Hinel has asked, how did you just decide what toms to use? Actually, since you just don't go and get a huge library out of nowhere, because what happens is you'll have too much content to not be able to browse. You know what I'm trying to say? There's so many things that you will never get time to know properly about every sample library that you have. So how it is for me is whatever I'm using, I have been using this for years. I know, like how Gaurav was asking about the microphone. So what these samples are, basically they are a very good recorded instrument, and I know ki this sample library has a decent sound, and rest I will be able to tweak later on. So start from a few libraries, try to get all the tones that you want out of it, and then if you want something unique, then get another one. I will never say get all the libraries together. Like, start from one. It can be a piano library, a strings library, anything. So that is how now with this experience I remember ki this library exists. I have this library and it sounds pretty decent. So I quickly thought ki I'll go here, I'll take the sample and I'll turn it around. I'll EQ it and process it, and then it'll sound a certain way. I hope that answers the question. Okay, I was removing the kick. I'll quickly remove that. I'll just reduce the level so it sounds like, so the hit sounds nice. Sounds like a hit. Without the kick, it doesn't sound like a hit. It sounds khali. Okay, let's see what reverbs we have. Oh, I have already chosen played reverb. Damn, I've done the same reverb twice, just out of habit. Okay, never mind. Let it be. My computer can handle it. Hear that? How that sounds? Okay, we'll use another reverse sample. I'll try this. Let's hear sound like. Sanjana. See how it's building towards a nice energy rise. This is how you control the energy movement for the song. Here again from the verse. Yeah, Kashmir samples, man. Yep, Kashmir samples it is. Okay, let's figure out the chords for the next section and then we'll build it more. तू क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना जानना तू मानना समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना जानना तू मानना ना तू है. Okay, that we have as a pre-chorus or the cross as we all call it. This is the Gentleman Piano Library from Native Instruments. Vansh, this is the Gentleman Piano Library. Oh, good thing you reminded. I'll quickly work on the tone. तू क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना. Okay, let's add some strings. I really like these libraries because they sound good and you can play melodies on them, and then I layer it with violin, so it sounds nice. See, this one loaded so fast. It depends on your SSDs and hard drives. So if you want your sample libraries to load faster, get an SSD. I know it is almost 3 times expensive, but it saves a lot of time. Actually, 2 times expensive. Yeah. Okay. Did you record that? Ooh, oh, ooh, you can hear my keyboard as well, so I can quickly cut that out. And my last note was bad, so I'll just quickly fix it from inside here. And this helps me keep the flow happening, and then once we have more singers to dub, we'll decide on how the notes work and not. Okay. Okay. I'll record that again. Sometimes when you cannot sing, like when I cannot sing, sometimes I just keep one of my ears open because it is only natural to hear my voice by my own ears. Other way, it doesn't work nicely. I can do that. Okay, let's see how this sounds together. My last note was too loud. I'm just going to match the levels. Any questions still here? That's one section done. Now you'll notice I sound off because I'm not a trained singer, and to nail all of these takes properly, I'm singing it inside my head, Hinal. Also, you'll notice me, I'm constantly trying to sing scales and find the note. I'm not perfect pitch like Charlie Puth. Those people are gifted. All we can do is just develop skills to be better. Did you use a preamp to record your vocals? Currently, I'm using a not a Babyface, a Maddyface Pro by RME, and I'm using the built-in preamp. Yes, Gaurav, I am a trained pianist. So from there, I have a lot of knowledge of scales and stuff. So like that. But that does not still make me perfect pitch. It's just that I'm constantly singing scales so that I can figure out what the notes are. Okay, chalo, we'll put auto tuner so that I sound slightly better. Oh, we did one auto tuner in the last session. Okay, advanced. I'll set it to minor keys. And I'll just copy it on all tracks. So now I have auto tune on all my back vocal tracks. Let's hear it. Whoa, it sounds bad. Let's fix the auto tune setting. Oh, that sounds so bad. It's also because I selected the scale wrong. See, these things happen. So I was thinking A minor, so I quickly selected A minor, but my key, as you can see on the settings, it was set on C. So it made it into a C minor instead of an A minor. So that's why it was sounding all weird. Okay, we'll copy this setting on all channels now. Should be fine now. Okay, now we can try to make it sound wider just by panning it. Okay, here you go, panning stuff. Somebody asked now. This is how I'll do it. And this is fixed panning. This is not the automated panning that you were asking about. I'm going to copy my FX setting as well. I'm going to copy my FX settings as well so that the reverbs sound cohesive. It sounds together. Add some long reverb as well. Let's see how that sounds like. You'll be hearing some off notes. That's because I'm just laying ideas down. This will help speed up my workflow, and just because of that. Okay, this can go for 2 cycles. Now, if you notice carefully, there is a noise happening in the background. Here, I'll use gate. Gate is something that it works like a compressor, but only doesn't let, the noise come in. It's kind of a noise control kind of a thing. But it has to be used very nicely, like smartly. What tracks are meant to be panned left and right, and what tracks are centered? Okay. The problem here with my tracks is I have sung only 3 of each. So I have 3 options. I have left, right, center. If I had sung 4 of them, then I would have panned a pair left, right. That way it gives me like the stereo field. If you listen to just these 2 tracks, oh, this is because of the gate. Let me quickly fix the gate actually, and then we'll do this. Yes, the mic catches the room noise. So I use the gate to fix that. Dev, there are no S's happening currently. So even if I use a de-esser, it will do nothing. See? This is just so that you know. A de-esser is used to reduce sibilances. There is no sibilance in my voice currently. So it is very important to learn about the tools. Just knowing the names, it gets very tricky after that, because like these are super cool names. Hey, I have a multi-band compressor. Hey, check out this emulation of this mic. Hey, check out this impulse response. Super cool names, but you have to know what it is used for. So if there was any sibilance, I would have used a de-esser. That's why it's called esser, That's sibilance. And to reduce that, we use a DSL. Now you'll notice the room noise is gone because it is smartly ducking it. You know, the gate is cutting away the noise. I'll play it without the gate. You see, there was a lot of rumble happening in the background. Now with the gate, it's just cleaner. So just something extra that I won't have to deal with in my session. Okay, what I can do is this voice, I can layer more. I'll currently I won't sing them. I'll just transpose it so that it works for me, and then I'll tweak it from there. I'll pan this to the right. Hinal, you'll be able to see here key now that I have 4 tracks. I'll pan each of them left, right, and see how it works for me. So my first track is towards the left, the third one's to the right, again to the left, again to the right, you know, stuff like that. So now I don't have to do center anymore. Okay, this, I'll detune it slightly so this gives me a slight stereo effect. It's the same voice, right? Okay, that last pitch is not happening, so I'll quickly edit it. Hear that? You heard that? I'm constantly tweaking the reverb. Now I'm not singing it just to save time, else I would have sung this part as well. Let's hear the back vocals together. Heard that? That was the tune part. Let's hear the whole thing together now. And you know, another fun thing is now that we have the choir also, we can layer this and see how that gives an effect to this. See how big that sounds now? So like this, you have to smartly layer elements with my voice, and then there's fake choirs happening. Anything which is a VST, I generally tend to call it fake, but a lot of things can be made sound real, but it's just my way of speaking. I said this so that next time I use the term fake, you'll understand. Yes, this is like stacking only. Okay, let's hear this again. Okay, now my voice doesn't sound that, you know, like in comparison to the choir which is happening in the background, it doesn't cut through much. So now I'll just EQ it slightly and see all the low rumbles and stuff if I can cut. And what I did just now is these two things. You can see I've done slight boost and cut. This generally happens in most of the mics, because if you're singing too close, like you can see the mic is very close to me. If I sing too close, it generally grabs a lot of bass. This is called the proximity effect, the scientific term. Proximity means the closer I am to it, the more bassier it sounds, and the further I go away, it sounds more roomy and more open. Again, in expensive mics, this effect is more flat in a certain range. That is why that mic is very expensive. But yeah, that is why I'm doing this cut, to remove the boominess. Okay, another idea which I get is I can put it in a group and I can use a doubler, and doubler will help me create more voices if required. Group. There we go. Or a chorus, maybe, whatever works. I'm going to use the doubler 2 by waves. Let's see. See how it gives that effect? Now I'll just balance it out so it doesn't sound so digital, you know. I'll go -10 and let's see how it sounds like. What I just did is the first bit of my voice was too loud and the later bit was soft. So I just cut it in the middle, reduce this so that, you know, I can balance it out. You can use this very basic editing tools to balance out the overall feel of your song. I'm going to do this for the last two notes as well. So it sounds louder because those are softer notes. And this will sound slightly soft and then I crossfade. Easy as that. And I know that the cut is not gonna cause any issue because if you hear the singing, this is exactly where I'm changing the note. You see this bump over here? If I zoom it out, this bump, you with the more time you spend on your DAW, you'll start to understand what waveforms look and sound like. And if you're a recording engineer, it'll be even more easier for you to do that. Okay, back to what I was doing. Okay, now I'll quickly go to the group, give it some reverb, and let's see how it sounds like. See, I'm boosting the mids for it to cut through more. So it sounds like it's a more high-pitched voice and less lows. Also, I'll try to remove the lows from here because the choir pad that I'm using in the Omnisphere already has decent amount of lows. So that will help me add to it. How do you switch to the view to the screen where multiple tracks are shown vertically side by side and you conveniently copied the effects? It's called the mixer page. You press F3 on Cubase and it opens up. If you're using Cubase 8 and onwards, then only this feature is available. It wasn't there before this, before version 8. Over here, you can copy anything from anywhere. Say if I want this effect to be copied here, I can just drag and drop. I can just drag and drop and it'll do that. F3, it's called the mixer page. We can do that as well. Let's add more voice harmonies. Sound epic now, huh? See, the song is going somewhere, it feels like. Okay. तू क्यों समझना Okay, that second one didn't happen.
क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना तू क्यों समझना 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 तू क्यों समझना
Okay, what I'm doing is a pre-record thing. So in a lot of DAWs, there's this option where these things keep recording. When I play a track, the recording already has started inside of Cubase, but it will not show. But if I press record somewhere, I can always drag and go back to the position, go back to what was done before recording. So I'm sure a lot of other DAWs also has this. I mean, I know Cubase has this, Logic also has this, and Pro Tools also has this. This is very handy when you're doing voice dubs, like just dubbing dialogues. A lot of times the artists will say the right thing in the rehearsal, and the moment the recording starts, they do the mistake. So I can easily open it up and go to the rehearsal file and quickly drag it there. So it's very helpful. Okay, let's hear the whole thing.
तू क्यों समझना जाने ना
I think I can come back again. Yes, Emmanuel, it's all about playing smart so that you can work less. Because imagine doing this kind of stacking and suddenly you are at 300 tracks. And then if you do these things individually, you're going to die. Okay, we can put a nice groove here. I quickly scroll through some kicks. Actually, let me look for a guitar sample. Guitars. Okay, this might work. Let's put it here and see. Oh, I forgot to put it on. Again. Oh, I put it twice now. Damn. Now we can see this is in the key of E minor. E minor, you know how many steps above E is A minor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll push it up by 5. I think I explained a lot about the tonality while transposing. You have different algorithms that you can use, which will tweak the sound. This is there in Ableton. All the Ableton users will know this. It has complex mode, beat mode, and then complex pro and all these things. So when transposing, these algorithms try to understand the waveform and transpose as close to the original texture before. Let's hear this, how this sounds like. Okay, see this again. Okay, I'll quickly edit this loop into a small 2 bars thing. Okay, I'll put this here. and then I loop this itself. You hear that? Sounds cool. So this gives me an idea. Also, I would like the guitar to sound a bit brighter. Let's hear this.
तू क्यों समझे ना तू क्यों समझे ना जाने ना तू क्यों समझे ना जाने
This. I'm just applying legato so that the notes don't sound disconnected. Legato is basically all the notes are connected, very closely connected. There's a very small gap. Any questions as of now? I know we haven't progressed much, but then this is the whole point about this. So I'm doing the whole process slowly so that you can understand each and every step that goes into it. And we have kind of run close to the ending time. I'll kind of just put a groove into this section and we'll see where we head to, and then we'll continue this in the next session. This is the voice, so it sounds a bit closer to the song. Here you'll notice me using a specific compressor because even if you can achieve the same kind of results with a normal compressor, there are certain harmonics which play an important role in the sound of it. So I'll go with this one. Now I use the Slate bundle a lot because first of all, it's cheaper for me. For 1,000 rupees a month, I get all very good plugins to use, and it works nicely, like for me, no issues.
समझे ना तू ही क्या बताऊं तुझे समझे ना ही क्या बताऊं तुझे
It's mostly through just exploring the DAW, and there are great tutorials on YouTube, like how I'm doing this on YouTube. There's a lot of nice tutorials from Cubase itself. Like they literally put one new video every day, so I get to learn a lot from there as well. And make producer friends because from there you can learn a lot of stuff. So guitarist friends and producer friends, that's where you learn from your DAW. And if you don't have budget, you have to send guitar sessions. That's where you do that. Make friends, guys. That's the best way to be a music producer. Yes, this is a Neve style EQ. It's kind of trying to capture that emotion. I like this because it's very straightforward. I can quickly make it super harsh or quickly make it super soft.
समझे ना तू ही समझे ना तू ही क्या बताऊं
Sure, keep messaging me. This was for Hinal. There's so many friends, like a lot of friends. Just keep making friends. A friend of mine is right here in this chat box right now. His name is Shoibal. He's a producer friend. He mixes a lot of tracks. He's professionally a mixer and a producer as well. But he's here. It's always nice to share ideas. See, it does not matter who you work for, what you work, where. There's always something new to learn. I'm sure you would have heard this so many places. Yes, if I'm in Kenya, I'll definitely drop a message to you. Thank you, Hinal. Now I totally forgot what I was doing. Yes, I was selecting a delay for the voice. Since this is a slow song, I like to keep the timing a bit slower. It's half time right now on the delay. And I'll use a dotted quarter note to see what the effect is like. This is the repeater delay, which is in the bundle, in the Slate Digital bundle. There you go. There is Shoibal. That's my friend. That's another producer friend. We share a lot of ideas. It will end soon, maybe in 5-10 minutes. We are almost towards the end of the thing. So I'll just finish a few things and then finish it off.
समझे ना तू ही क्या बताऊं तुझे समझे ना तू क्यों समझे ना जाने ना तू माने ना ना तू है ना मैं हूं ना जाने क्या.
Okay, let's give some air. Also, I'm just EQing this voice so that I can get the vibe nice and happening. Like I said before, that it is very important to balance your tracks. It kind of makes and breaks the song. You can put in as many ideas as you want. After you're done putting down ideas, always make sure to balance the track. That we are kind of at like a proper track is playing, I will put some master effects just to see how it works out for me. I'll use a bus compressor. I use tape saturation and an EQ. It's mostly there in my preset. So this is what I really like using. You see how that brings the glue together? So the bus compressors really glue stuff together. If you overdo it, it will start ducking in places you don't want, and the dynamics of the track kind of dies. So it is important to smartly use this compressor. I was going to lower the low ends in the voice because it's too harsh.
जादू न सोया मेरी रुख पर से समझे ना तू ही क्या बताऊं तुझे समझना जो समझना तू क्यों समझना
way, I can quickly put an open hats over here to give it. mm,
समझना तू क्यों समझना जा
Okay, let's hear this how it sounds like.
समझना तू क्यों समझना जाने ना
I'm quickly just speeding since we're towards the end of the thing, so I'll do a lot of things fast. But the good thing is you'll have this YouTube video to watch and make questions out of it later.
समझना समझना तू क्यों समझना जाने ना समझना
Now what I'm doing here is I'm gonna be layering these claps and the kick. It sounds kind of nice. There we go. You see how that sounds like? It sounds more epic. Just gonna sample the streaming clap as well. See, I'm like, if you see carefully, I have taken the same loop, but I've cut two different samples from there. So whatever works, for me, it's like that. Like there's no specific rules and regulations. You have to use the same sample and stuff like that. I'm going to layer it with another kind of a clap. And another kind of a clap. Let's balance it out over here. Can we put some soft elements or percussive elements in different time signature which ends with our main sum? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. The creative thing. And it sounds interesting also. We go. See this whole thing together.
समझना तू क्यों समझना
Hats can go on the ands instead of the ones.
तुझे समझना तू क्यों समझना
Yeah, like they will clash because there is a lot of layers in that and a lot of frequencies are similar. So like if you notice the stuff that I have done, I have pulled down some sounds, I have pushed some sounds up, again some sounds are down, so you have to match your levels like that so that it does not clash. Yeah, Gaurav also says it, you can use EQ also, but for this one I haven't used the EQ because it was unnecessary. Just matching the levels also does the job. What EQ does is it takes a certain frequency and you can boost up and down. Volumeter takes the whole thing and boosts it up and down. It's the same theory, but it's selective, you know. Sorry, my mic was far away. I hope you got the answer, like you heard that properly.
तुझे समझना तू क्यों समझना जाने ना समझना तू क्यों समझना जाने ना माने ना माने ना
And we'll use a transition here so that the song feels like it's falling down, so it falls down, the energy goes down nicely. Use another Kashmir sample. There you go. You notice a lot of these samples I don't put on the grid. After I put, I see the waveform where it's rising and where it's, lower, and then I try to fix it in the grid if required.
माने ना ना
Okay, see that guitar part is extra unnecessary. I'll mute it. These choirs are also unnecessary. I'll mute this. And this back vocal is also unnecessary because we are trying to develop a stop over there according to the feel of the song.
तुझे समझना तू क्यों समझना जाने ना तू माने ना ना तू है ना मैं
Okay, I think we'll end the session here. The song has developed this far, and then we'll continue from here. Let's hear it from the top ones, and I'll give you 15 minutes if you have any more questions, and then we'll see you in the next session. Thank you, Animesh.
मैं जो ढूंढूं
Thank you, Momin.
जागूं न सोया मेरी रुख पर से समझे ना तू ही क्या बताऊं
Okay, Gaurav.
तुझे समझे ना तू क्यों समझे ना जाने ना तू माने ना तू है ना मैं हूँ ना जाने क्या
Okay, the chorus section we'll do again later. And that is it. If you guys have any questions, I have more 4 minutes. Actually, I can do it 10 minutes, and then I'll end the session. Come on, guys, give me some questions. If you don't have questions, let me know that also, then I'll end the session. Thank you, Shoibal. Thank you, Dev. Thank you, Preet. Thank you, Aditya. Yeah, recent Cubase updates are very nice. Chord design. That's a, like, you have to listen to things and get it from there, I guess that's how you do it. There is a whole section of composition about that. It is very hard to answer that question. It's a very broad question that you've given, the whole chord design thing. If in future I do more live sessions, I'll try to explore one of those parts as well. So keep following. If I do more live, you can join in. What is my to-go pad sound? My to-go pad sound is a saw tone from Serum, and I just filter it out, and then I gradually build on it, because that really helps me give, I have used it here. Check this out. This is the saw soft pad. If I want to make it sound more reverby and stuff like that, I increase, I make it softer and I put higher layers. Say I go an octave higher and I choose a sine tone, and like that, I just blend it in and it sounds better. You hear that? Like that. It's pretty easy. Ria asks, can you please name some good alternative for Cubase for practice purpose only? Something user-friendly, at least for a beginner. See, the thing is, most of these recording interfaces are actually user-friendly, because if you want to record something, it's as simple as make a track, press record, and play back, and you hear it like that. Just a second. If you want to try something which is very basic and free, you can look for Pro Tools first. It is a free software. You just have to register your email ID. There is another one called Reaper, which is another free software. And there is Studio One. They have an artist version, which you can use. I think they call it Studio One Prime. There you go. Studio One Prime is free. So it's a proper DAW. You get some samples also. And hey, it's not free. Yeah, it is free, correct. So you can use it. It has some effects and it has some instruments so that you can start, and it's free. So, and it works on Mac and PC both. So you shouldn't have any issues there. Can you give the MP3 or WAV download of this track? Couldn't hear properly because of the audio quality. Yeah, sure. I will do that. Something related and not related. How do you produce song for long hours? I have constant back issues. Maintain your posture. You have never, if you have seen me, I slouch sometimes and then I sit straight. Since I'm a pianist, during my hours and hours of practice, this kind of became a habit to sit straight and buy a good chair, I guess. Another question is also make sure that you hear in soft volume. If you hear too loud, you won't be able to work for long. Sir, do you use any arpeggiators? If yes, which one? I use sometimes if I need to make very generic patterns. There is a built-in. So in Cubase, and I'm sure in other softwares as well, you have a separate inserts for MIDI. Like if you can see to the bottom left of the screen, the separate insert for MIDI, and I can choose any of these options. And if you see, the first two options are Arpachi 5 and Arpachi SX. These are, arpeggiator engines. So you can use that. Another cool thing is a lot of these, actually these things, these synths also come with built-in arpeggiators, which you can do, which you can use. Any synth, even the default Retrologue that comes, it is a very good synth to start from in Cubase. Emmanuel asks, lovely production on Reha by Arijit. Thank you so much. Saurav says, thank you, Saurav. Moments says, can you give us stems to work on like a project and then give us feedback? Yes, sure. If not, you can always send me a song that you have worked on. It can be your composition. If you want to hear some comments from me on that, what I feel like about your work, I'll definitely do that. Message me if there's a song like that. Thank you, Aditya. I play the guitar and slouching has become a habit. Get rid of it. Sit on a chair without hand stuff and back stuff so that you can sit straight. Have you tried the KHS phase plant? No, I haven't. I'll try it someday later. Hinal asks, what's a good professional audio interface for home studio? Say EG with example Logic Pro. See, there are very nice options right now in the market. If you are wanting to buy something super basic, you can start from somewhere up to 10,000 rupees and you can go up to as much as you want. A really good one I find is that it is stable and it works on USB is Native Instruments Complete Audio 6. I think that's what it's called. It's a newer interface. It's got decent amount of inputs if you have external devices, and it should cost around 20,000 rupees. If you don't want to spend that much money, I don't know what it is in Kenyan currency though, Hinal. You'll have to check that out. But if you think 20,000 rupees is a lot for you, then you can go for another cheaper version. Sir, are there any bugs in Cubase 11? I just started using it, haven't faced it yet. If I do, I'll let you know. Can we get your email ID? Yes, my email ID, I'll write it down. It's ziamusic@gmail.com. If you have any questions regarding this project, just put the subject as workshop Q&A or workshop question, and I'll be able to reply you over there. I keep getting a lot of emails, so it'll be easier for me that way. And that is it, guys. It's a pack up for today. It was a nice session, and see you again.